So I'll start off by saying hi. Welcome to Day Trader Radio. I'm DayTraderRockStar. It's a Wednesday night research session. Basically, I want to break we're going to do a couple things in tonight's video. One is I want to go back the last 3 days, mark out all the HPS divergence trades in the ES/MES. And see, basically just looking at two different setups. We're going to look at the divergence setup, price divergence, stochastic divergence, and then we're also going to look at the 2020 bull bear flag. And we're going to mark them off. We're going to see what the results were from where we actually see them. I'll discuss a little about the setup, and it's pretty obvious. I think people who are familiar with divergences now pretty much could recognize them pretty good. But there is good divergences and there's not so good divergences. So I like to kind of explain the difference between them and see the moves, reaction off them. It really builds your confidence, and the confidence is like that's more than what it takes to be a good trader, is to be able to take the positions. And even this week I came in feeling better. Still very hard to do the show and be on top of each setup, because I could look right here and I said, all right, there was an argument here for a divergence right here. There's kind of a little argument for a divergence, but there's no way I was probably paying attention to actually. That was coming into the last 15 minutes of the day too. But we were expecting a little pop after the pullback. So you could have read that into as a divergence. You got a nice move off of it instead of having somebody down. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to go back to Monday. We're going to just mark them all off. We'll see, kind of build that understanding of where they typically set up, and fast little 3-day thing. Shouldn't take that long. Then I have some new stocks going on into tomorrow, which I really do like, and a little review of some things. And if we want to talk anything else, we could talk. So I'm here till about 10 o'clock. So about 3 hours, a little less than 3 hours. So if you have any questions, also please bring them up in the chat room. If you're on the outside and YouTube land, welcome. You could always get a free trial on the dashboard on DayTradingRadio.com. You'll see a link there. Definitely worth checking out. All right, so market's going a little lower here. There's, people are saying, I was listening to a little of Fast Money. I went to go pick up my son after work, and I'm sitting there in the school with Fast Money on the radio, and he's like, yeah, this market moved up real fast, but it moved up on very light volume, and it was the thing, there's the old adage, volume precedes price, and it's very important to, a lot of the technical and chart formations are all based on volume. When you have cup and handles, the volume plays a big part on that. Flags, pennants, important to have the strong volume, and then the volume kind of drifts off as the flag forms. You have all these things. So, this little pop we're seeing in the market feels extremely bullish. But some of the, some people recognizing that there's not a lot of volume behind it. And I didn't really measure it out. That was probably the last thing I was paying attention to, is the volume that's got us up here. I'm just saying, it's whatever it is, we're up here. It doesn't, people say, I don't like trading that stock, there's not enough volume in it. Well, it has the same amount of volume, but since it went from $3 to $12 on light volume. So that's always my counter argument. And I don't know. I mean, I'm not seeing a big difference in the volume there, but I do see the big trend line here. And we always talk about a retracement, and a retracement trend line like up here would take us to the highs. That would definitely take us to the highs, and we were actually a little higher than the closing high priced today at one point. So feels like we're everyone's getting ready to ramp up into the November-December trade. Very good time for the markets. And I would have to be bullish up here still. But today, the market's actually kind of drifting lower. We'll see how the market opens up. So yeah, so we're going to start off looking at the divergences, because that's really a good way of making money in this market. Especially, there's a lot of positives, with the micro contracts, which I like. They're very low risk. You could start off small. You can nickel and dime the market. You could craft your skills and work on things, but working on real, not paper money. But it's always important to trade with live cash. It brings a whole new element to the trade. So that, all that leads to the micros being a good starting, or even, it doesn't matter. It's great to have that opportunity to start at that level. And a lot of people who have lower amounts of money under the 25,000 mark here, the pattern day trader or marks from pattern day trader. So it takes away a lot of the opportunities. You're waiting for your trades to clear or whatever. So, the option, or with the futures, there's no pattern day trading, and you're able to trade in and out of these things. And then combine that with a discounted broker, you could be paying $50 a contract on some of these, future products, which is great. So, and now you have a great template to follow. All you have to do is set it, and again, that comes to the part of confidence in the trade and taking it. And that's what this kind of what's the word I'm looking for? I'm going to go back to Monday. Exercise. This exercise kind of builds confidence. 'Cause we know what we're looking for, and we just want to point it out. What's today? 19th. All right, so, and I'll probably skip over the overnight session, so I'll just jump so it won't go that slow. Monday. That's Monday morning. All right, so overnight trade Monday. Yes, and I should start recording this. And I was just saying, for the purpose of this demonstration, we're going to use the MES or the ES. The ES is the underline, the E-mini. So anything that shows up in the ES will show up in the MES. So we get into the market here. I'd probably get in around 8 o'clock. Market's kind of moving on down. And, we start to see some activity here. Now, at 9:30, we've been seeing a lot of divergences start at 9:30. Now, I remember this divergence. It was from 8:45 to 9:30. Came down, double top. But look at the 60-10 stochastic. 60-10 is really your 5-minute time frame. So while you're looking at the 1-minute time frame here, you're not seeing it on the 9-3, which you're normally looking for. You're just not seeing that, but you are seeing it on this one. This is a dead giveaway. That is a dead giveaway. So the 60-10, I call it the 60-10 stochastics. If that gives you a divergence, it's basically giving you a 5-minute divergence, and it should be taken for a much longer trade. Now, in this case, you probably could have rode this all day and been, been good. For one of those few days that kind of starts at the lows and closes at the highs. Big day. As we pulled back, it was kind of a double bottom divergence here. I actually pointed that out. And then from that point on, it was a very bullish day. Every little pullback actually was a little divergence. You see this. You can see this candle here, that how the stochastics were already over that 20 line, even though the price was going lower. And that's just the key, It's a harder one to see, but it is actually there. And from that point on, you didn't have much of a pullback. But isn't it amazing now that this divergence, it is a divergence. You can't find that divergence anywhere else. And when you do find it, it gives you a move, in the direction of the divergence. It's powerful. It's just a beautiful, beautiful move. I mean, hard not to take those. So you got to just keep an eye on it. And lots of times, if you're not there I might be looking at something else, might be in a trade, might be posting, might be reading, and you miss it by a second, and it kind of gets away from you. You kind of like, damn, that was my opportunity, and you talk yourself out of it. Or in some cases, maybe you don't. Here, it looks like there was a sell side divergence, and it did pull back, but look, it actually ran it over. It went right back up. It turned back up. And I always say when you have that divergence, and if it turns back up, you should cancel right away. If it gives you any indication that it's going to turn back up and not fully, move down, that should give you enough time so you don't get totally run over. Another thing is, when we see those divergences, a sell side divergence gets defeated by a 2020 bull flag. And I'll show you that in a bit when we see that. There's a little divergence, and this kind of got that nice little pop relative to the downward channel that was this was in. It was in kind of a kind of a little tight channel here. And when you have a divergence inside of a channel, it always breaks out of the channel. Now in this case, it came back, held the lows, and eventually moved higher. But it was kind of a choppy session there. But it did move off of that. Here's another divergence. You could see them. They're just there. Pretty easy divergence to see there. That's at nighttime too. I mean, that's at 21:30, which we might hit that point today too. We could look for the overnight divergences too, and that was a nice little divergence. Again, if you were forcing yourself to take a trade overnight, this is where you would have to, say, I have to wait at least for something. And it was also a 14-3 divergence too, which kind of makes it even a better, nice, strong setup. And from that point on, look at a nice move. And this is always, it happens, So, again, every time I do this, the next day I'm going to get in here, I'm going to take everyone, I miss them. You don't get them all the time. But if you are just focused on this stuff, here's a nice double top divergence. This is 2 o'clock in the morning. But it was a little divergence there. And that looks an obvious divergence. Obvious pop in the morning. And there you are there. And then there was one here, and it got a little pop. It got enough to break us out of the channel. But not much. Other than that, that was a rough one. And that was just before the market opened up. Probably the market had some news going into that area too. This was another big 5-minute divergence from here to here. This was a 5-minute divergence. And again, happened right at the open, 9:30 to 9:45. That was the low of the day. A couple sell-side divergences. Didn't give us much. Again, that's why I had a question today. If someone was using the bot, and they have the bot with the lifetime membership, and you get the code and stuff. Because, can I start running this? I said, yeah, but just try to remember, you want to have it running in the direction, you can put long and short side signals on. I have long and short signals on it. But if it's a very bullish day, the short signals have a better chance to be run over. So it would, definitely tighten up your targets on a short here. Now we're looking at, I was watching this, and let's see, we're going into, what day is this here? I didn't pay attention to the overnight trade here. Let's just see if there's anything. Wow, look at that. So you have a nice candle, a little pop up to the 20, another fast little move down. Look at that steep divergence. And again, if you have a downward channel, which you should have, I mean, it's easy enough to look at 1 pivot, 2 pivot, 3 pivot, and I just throw that second, just throw the other one in there, just to give it a shape here. But the real one you're looking at is the trend line. Before Christmas. All right, so yeah, we'll talk about that next. We'll talk about the upcoming trade here, November, December. It was a 9-3 divergence, double bottom divergence right here. A 9-3 one. A 14-3, excuse me. 14-3 is the second one. 14-9-3 is the top one. It goes from speed. 9-3 it wasn't. 14-3 it was. But it was a slight divergence there. again, if you're jonesing for divergences and you need to take them, only take them when you have a slight signal. There's plenty of time to be in the market. We're proving that. Here's a beautiful, beautiful divergence. Opening up here. This is European Open. It's another good time to trade, especially for those traders out there who are trading, we're more better suited for them for the overnight trade, maybe out in the Far East or in Europe somewhere where they're able to be up at 2:30 to 3 o'clock. This is a good time to trade. This was a textbook, big 5-minute 60-10 divergence right here. This low and this big candle low, and look at the move from that. I mean, that is really telling you something right there. And then this is overnight. Well, the morning coming in. Wow. This is, I remember this was what we called a triple stochastic rotation, where we have all time frames, including, quadruple. I always call it the triple because originally it was 3 stochastic. So I just keep the original name, where all of them 3 come down and they pin at the end of, at the same time, and that's usually a bottom. And you kind of got to get used to looking at it, and you'll see it kind of in a strange way where they all come down at the same time and they're all under the 20 line at the same time. This is very close to 1 to 2 right here. This is, sorry about that. Got oversold. This was, didn't really get oversold here, but it was a nice pullback. Probably was a divergence. Slight divergence. I mean, again, if you had to take a trade, you take one where the stochastics take out the previous low, you put your stop underneath that, and then you let that thing ride. Market here today, this I could see this. I think this was today. The market kind of did a William Shatner here and sold off. It came back, almost back up to the highs, and then kind of failed. And this is the overnight session right now. The overnight session here, we're kind of drifting, not much going on. We're down 5 points. The lows are right here. Can we drift lower? Yes, definitely. So, just by going through those, plenty of opportunities in the market to trade the futures. We got to work as a team to be part of that. You need to always have, just people watching for it. If I miss it, if the bot misses it, it's great to have some opportunities, great opportunities, because great opportunities like, a good 5-minute divergence at the beginning of the day, and markets, and you're expecting that kind of a nice move out of that, you could really just, that's where you want to go in. You want to bet big in the poker realm of things. When you have the best hand, that's when you want to bet. That's when you want to make your money. The stakes here. Bring it back down the video here. You might say, all right, John, this low is not lower than this low. It's relative where the price is. It's called my relative divergence. Relative where each of the lows are compared to each other. Relative to each other. And then compare that to where the stochastics are. And the stochastics here, your price are very close to having that flat line. Stochastics have this huge higher low. So it's usually, that is a good one. We'll do a little review now. Again, we know where we are in the S&P. We kind of took out the highs, closed closing high, whatever that was there. Just about there. I mean, tomorrow if we got an up day, we'll probably be there officially. The dailies extended. It's tough. I mean, it's people talk about double tops. There is that trend line above us. I always like those retracement trend lines. Earnings are still coming in. 60-minute time frame is there, and the overnight trade is on. So let's take a look at some stocks. Unity has pulled back today. And I said, I'm going to hold off, see if we get down to that 139 if I'm going to start adding back to it. I took off half my position to 149 area. But I wouldn't mind getting back in on this or adding to it. A lot of people talking about the metaverse. Be careful. Watch it careful tomorrow. But there is some new ones. I do got some new ones here for us. First of all, a new one on the HPS watch list this week was BSX, and this is called a coiled stochastic channel breakout. Kind of a rare setup, but a very high probability type of setup. I mean, it usually works out perfect, textbook. Coiled up stochastics, meaning that we have a series of lower highs, 4 or more little downward peaks, including the top 1, 2, 3, 4. And usually we get that breakout after 4. Sometimes I could see 5. But once it gets coiled down here and you're down on the lower part of the channel, and this one actually had a rising channel too, so it was a combination of X marks the spot, that's 2 trend lines meeting, the rising trend line, the 200 period moving average, and a coil stochastic. It was just golden. We got in it, next day exploded higher. And then broke out. Something like that. Yeah, we got in here on the pullback actually. And I expect this to go to the highs, so just going to let that one just continue to push higher. The GXO, we haven't talked about it in a couple of days. It's because it's been just hanging here. Recent IPO, supply chain, logistics. I've been watching the CVS. I kind of like the CVS here. I like it back up towards the highs. It had a nice day today. I didn't really look at it today. Net. Always watching net. Net kind of flagging out. Little pullback in net. Corning, GLW, strength pretty much all day until the end of today. But it was pretty good until about 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock it sold off a little. But once we know why we sold off. We came right up to a trend line. Such a big trend line that it said, all right, if you're not holding this longer term, get out at this trend line because it's going to probably pull back. And look at that. It pulled right off of that. So you can probably get back in on this one pretty good. So Corning acted perfect. The BSX acting good. And then a couple new ones we like. I wrote them down here. Oh, the Kellogg. I'm liking the Kellogg again. Kellogg had a nice channel breakout here. It's just a longer term channel. Kind of breaking out through that level.
Tradometer YM oversold.
I'm not even going to put the lower trend line in there just to confuse everyone. But big channel, and then we're kind of just consolidating a little. I would say we have a good shot of holding this level. This is actually on the hourly. Let me take a look at the daily. The daily, we've traded this one on this pullback. Got a nice run up. And now it's pulled all the way back down, and that's what I like is that trend line underneath us. So I haven't gotten that one yet. And then the CPB, Campbell's Soup. Nice double bottom, kind of reversal candle yesterday, follow through today. Oversold. Nice downtrend. It's kind of a bigger trend line, which lots of times we get. Our goal is to get back above that trend line, and this is where we probably will head back up there. So there we go. Packaged foods, Campbell's Soup. Looks good down here. Good. Hoo-hoo. I didn't pull that one out, did I? soup. So I have that one circled too. I was looking at options on Campbell's, Kellogg. Looking at that task, keeping a couple other ones close to the vest here. ATKR and Bill. These were some of the IB50 stocks. 296. Ford acted really good today. Came back strong at the end of the day too. Had an upgrade. $20 price target. Big candle. Like to just see follow through tomorrow. Let's get this thing going. We'll take out the 1650 highs. The previous highs here until we went way back to 1998. So that's about $17 is back up here to two. Wow. Nice recovery. So hold a lot of options on that one going out to 2023. The leaps on that.
And stuff. It's just people involved in making multi-billion-dollar moves, and it's how they think. And at some point, though, I can see where people tolerating a bigger pullback because they are so used to it eventually bouncing. And you can certainly make the argument for crypto. The same thing. People are going to hold on knowing it's going to bounce. After experiencing a 56% drawdown and then we're right back to the all-time highs, you get desensitized to the pullbacks. The same thing with a regular market. So what could have happened is we could have dropped a whole lot more in this recent pullback, and people still would have held on to their positions.
Sure, yeah.
And then if they decide to push a lot, at some point people do capitulate and say, to hell with this, and usually it winds up taking a lot more money from people than it would have normally because desensitized to those pullbacks. And that's when you see those exaggerated moves like we had back at the COVID crash and stuff, where it just wipes everybody out and resets everything and really gets exciting. But this one, I think we make new highs soon, man, tomorrow. I don't see why not. Bitcoin's doing it too. It's like everything is just all lined up for more money printing and more wasteful spending, and just put it anywhere but the damn shitcoin USD.
Yeah.
And what's weird, man, if you look at the Dixie chart, the dollar has been going up.
Yeah. Yeah, check it each morning. It does go up a little.
Yeah, it's not like it. You would think it would be like in the 80s or something because of the way Bitcoin has been behaving and the markets have been behaving, but that ain't the case at all. It's actually showing some strength too. So if that thing runs into resistance and rolls over,
order filled. Order canceled. Order canceled.
The rest of the equities and Bitcoin and everything else, So, I bought gas tonight. $3.17 was the cheapest I could find it.
Well, that's a little better.
Well, no, it ain't better. I just bought it for $3.03.
Oh.
I just want
better than mine. Better than mine. I think I paid.
I know you're a little higher. Yeah, but I told you in a text message. I think was it Thursday? I forget when it was. Maybe last Thursday. No, it was Sunday. Sunday I bought 55 gallons on my trailer on my barrel for lawnmowers and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was $3.03. Now the same gas station is $3.17.
Wow.
It's going up pretty quick. I guess let's go, Brandon.
Yeah.
Well, it's his fault or not, he's going to pay for it.
Yep.
It's just politically the way it works. So, anyway, I'll let you get back to your show. I got some stuff to do.
Yeah, thanks for calling in. If you want to call in, Skype in. That's.
Yeah, I'll show you my shop is coming. You guys don't know how messy it was before, but I can just show you that we'll set up my tools and my TVs and my computers and stuff.
Yeah, we'll watch you work.
In an outdoor shop where I work on my hardware and stuff. So
nice.
really cool.
All right.
I'll be listening.
All right. See you, Paul. All right, bye. Maybe we get Anthony to call in there. Anthony, you out there? Anthony. All right, market here pushed up to the VWAP. Kind of pulled back here. It's on the pivot. There's not many people out there, and that was Paul there. I actually recorded a little of his talk because I had it on pause, and then he called, and we were discussing a lot of things, and I put him on the radio. He was helping me do my Nord VPN, which I got done, and I transferred my Bitcoin out of my Binance account into my Coinbase account. So, like I said, maybe tomorrow we'll talk to Paul, see where I can put that to work. Some of these new experimental coins he's looking at. The inverted head and shoulders. I'm just curious to see here. I would jump in on another divergence here if we get one. We're holding the pivot area right now. And that's that. I want to pause the video here until we have something a little bit more interesting to say here. A couple of these. All right, so we ruined some things here. And again, here's another one with, the telltale signs of a reversal candle. This is a nice little engulfing pattern, and that really just pointed it out. Here there was a divergence. That was the perfect setup. So you got to wait for the setups. They don't always come, but you got to be in front of them when they do. I also was looking at the IIPR as a breakout play for tomorrow. And we're just about there. I mean, this could easily get some follow through. IIPR. Kellogg, again, one more time. Kellogg looking good on the pullback. Trend line pullback. I think there's a lot more upside here on Kellogg now. That's good. So where was that? McKesson. All right, so let's go back to this. I'm just going through a couple more. Charge point we left off. So the BF. All right, team. Oh. That hit its target this week, Fleet Core. This is old Coach. They changed it to Tapestry. Not interested. MDT. That hasn't, we have this kind of potential divergence if it turned up quickly tomorrow, but not really. Disney. Watch it. Royal Caribbean coming back down. No interest in that. Some of those. Look at this pullback, and look at that shot through the. Oh my God! Look at that. 36, 33. Plug power. Trade desk is always good. I've lost track of that one, but you could see there was a nice little channel line here that was forming, probably off of a nice 1, 2, 3 channel right here, and then we kind of broke out of it. Now the pullback might be something worth getting into on this. Again, we want to catch this. This is also 200 EMA breakdown channel line bounce set up. Here there's one back over here too. You go down to that trend line. So we're just waiting for these. Come on, let's get a couple in the room here. I want someone to bring me something. Give me your best pullback, best divergence, best anything trade. Las Vegas Sands had earnings. I'm not interested. And that one's been very strong. We're going to go to the scanner. Where it says screener, we're going to go up to the top of the board here. This is the Finviz stock screener. I'm going to look for, I'm going to go over here to technical and pattern. And we'll do a strong channel down from highest market cap to lowest. And then we're going to go charts. All right. Remember Lucent? That was an LU. What's L net U now? Luminant. A nice channel. Nice channel there. I'm looking for some things that are kind of popped and pulling back from the downward channels. These are all potentials. Here's a nice Northrop Grumman. Look at it. These all big moves. The first pullbacks after these are usually good. So these, you either write them down and come back to them. NOC. I'll write these down because, this is money in the bank if you get that first rotation after a channel breakout. That's what we're looking for right now. Here's Brinker. We looked at Brinker today. I think Kyle brought that one to my attention. It was given a nice reversal candle on Brinker. And it was getting a bounce, and then it sold off at the end of the day. It's still not perfect. We were looking at it, though. Looks like an earnings miss. Let's take a look at Biogen. BIP. That's a good one, too. Starting to stalk on that one. Yeah, and that's a big pullback. It's come all the way back, gave back everything, plus more, possibly even more. How was that Alzheimer's drug? That was, they had a lot. They were like it was controversial about the whole process, if it was a good drug or not, and they got. All right. Let's take a look at a different type of scan here now. Still have the Teva calls, and holding above $10 is very positive. I'd like to get a further move on this. Vertex. Costco here, it's just about ready to break out. 468. That could be a nice move. Not a fan of DraftKings. All right, nothing on that one. That's nothing nice. And what do we got here? All right, so it looks like Guru is going to give me a couple to look at. Thank you. Is that Ralph Lauren? Yeah. Kind of putting that multiple bottom, holding the, kind of rotating back up a little early, giving the guy that little divergence look. It's interesting. OSK, Oshkosh Truckers. Now, heavy machinery or so. I mean, look at JBHT. you're really taking off. But the Oshkosh, OSK, I thought they were more of, I guess they're all kinds of things, right? All construction equipment. Nice pullback. Very organized pullback, too. That does look pretty good here. It would be better if it was a divergence. It would be perfect. Because you have that channel to work off of. You have the lower channel line. It's a 200 EMA channel line breakdown bounce. This looks good. I mean, I feel like probably pretty good on this to get up to the 200 again, which is maybe about 4 points. You get three or 4 points on this. I'm going to write this one down, OSK. I do like this. It's a daily. 60-minute time frame is up there. Weekly, just starting maybe to turn back up. All right. That's Oshkosh. M Micron, MU. Was this an earnings call today? It's not bad. I mean, has at least the volume coming into it. Something was moving. There was something going on. Hey, Furthers. Oh, and then OSH. Oak Street Health. No comments on this one right now. All right, let's take a look at Baxter. Got a couple more coming into the room. Thanks. Baxter International, medical instruments. I do like medical instruments plays. This is a nice pullback, close the gap. Perfect close of the gap. Probably you could squeeze this out of a divergence on this. A very shallow type of divergence between these lows, but that is a divergence. And yeah. There's a nice divergence here, and you got a big move. You got a little divergence here. Not bad. I kind of like it. Kind of like this one, BAX. Like that one. All right. Clorox CLX. Next one. Oh yeah. Not bad. Little candle on Clorox. Down to 158. It's way under the 200 period moving average. I mean, it's kind of taking a shot here. Probably not a trade for me. CCI, Crown Castle, 5G plays. Big trend line underneath us. I mean, why not? Right? We circled it. And it did get some follow through today. We're circled on that candle. Gilead. I have no interest in Gilead right now. Gap. GPS. Fall into the gap. We did mark off this candle the other day. I don't remember doing this, but it circled. So we do kind of looked at this. Probably just because of the flush and the reversal candle. It's holding up right under the 20. It's a nice pullback on that. It is. It is a decent pullback. Nice rotation. Everything does look good on that. Yeah. GPS. God, I can't not like that. KMB. So we're talking good stocks here. Oh, whoa! Here we are. Here we are. Here we are. That's what I wanted. I wanted to pull back to the trend line and not chasing it too much. So this one looks good. Oh yeah. Nice. Already got a big pop off of this yesterday. It's almost 2 points away from that trend line. All right. I like that. KMB. All right. It's also a possible divergence too. I like it. Yeah. All right. And B, Kroger. Everyone hates Kroger. It's on the 200. LH. Laboratory Corporation of, that's like a LabCorp. Looks like a divergence. That candle, piercing pattern, reversal, holding above the 20, getting some follow through. Yeah, there's some nice ones here. Yeah, all right, we'll get, yeah, the AUPH. All right, we're going to look at that. Let me just finish this here. Regeneron, REGN. I haven't traded that. I don't trade that one. Sirius Satellite Radio. We know all these stocks. What's the catalyst in this? And Howard Stern's leaving? I'm not going to... I haven't looked at that. TAP. We did look at this earlier today. A couple of candlesticks here. Possible tweezer bottom divergence. 2 candles, a little follow through. Pulled back off of 62 all the way down to 45. It does look good. I mean, I do like this too. I'm going to write it down. We have a lot of stocks to look at, and it's just too many to get into. We're going to narrow this down to the best of the best here. What else we got? Here's TAP, UTHR. All right. Whatever that one is. United Therapeutics. Big pop, double bottom. Big divergence. Double bottom divergence. Yeah. Nice. So I at least wrote all these down. You know, we could look at all these, and even if you don't get into all of them, we could at least come back and look at the important levels. This is a really strong divergence. Double bottom, turn back up. Yeah, that looks great. I gotta write, all these are getting written down. UTHR. What time is it here? 9:21. I gotta get going soon. 9:30. TAP and X-ray. Dentsply. Dentsply, whatever you call that. Huh. There's some good ones there. Yep. All right, so the latest on AUPH is everyone's waiting for a buyout on this. It did have a nice run, 25. I mean, it did have a nice go at that. Still got the rest of my AUPH off at about 21 and change. So, you know, it's still around that level. It pushed higher, came back down. 19 is chopping around. Yeah, they have that one drug, right? They have that lupus drug, and I think they're putting a lot on that. Just the word's out that you know, it's rumored to be in a very speculative takeover target. That's been talked about for the last probably 2 years about like this. So nothing's changed on that. I like the my ITI. I do think is going to be bought out though too. ITI, Terrace. Oh, volume that. No, that. All right, so I want to actually stop the video. We did a lot of research on the video. I'll continue on with the show here, but I want to send the video out before it gets too late. I got to compress that and stuff. So for those out there listening to, hope you enjoyed it. The video broadcasting live each and every day here, 8 o'clock from 8 in the morning Eastern time to the close. And like tonight, special overnight show. DayTraderRadio.com. Let me send this out. Stop it right